Good afternoon. I'm Pies, it's Joseph, a founder of Hamilton Black Film Festival. Today, you are welcome to our show, Filmmakers POV. On our show today, we have the one and only talented writer, producer, Tijuana Layne. She is going to discuss with us today about her film, The Blue Rose. Tijuana, you are welcome to our show.
Thank you very much, Faith. Hi.
So, we're going to start with the beginning of this film. There was a dialogue you used. I was born under a dark cloud. Can you please explain that to the audience?
That's an important statement because we don't usually talk a lot about postpartum depression in film. And this woman that I'm playing, the Blue Rose, she experienced her mother going through postpartum depression, which didn't alleviate. It ended up going into depression. And she unfortunately saw her own mother commit suicide because she didn't get help.
That's a great, the stories come somehow have a lot of sorrow to it. But
Mhm.
let me ask you this question: You play the woman in this film, and this me talk about a little girl who wasn't given everything she wanted, not everything, but who wasn't given the love that she wanted when she was a kid. Can you explain that to us? How you upbringing your parents?
It's important for parents to realize that to bring in as much as they can the love for a child so they have a strong foundation. Unfortunately, in this situation, the father was dealing with the sorrow of losing his wife, the love he had. So he didn't have any space to love his own child. And he felt angered because he felt this child was part of that. Because as she was born, his wife lost that connection with him. And so he looked at his own daughter as, I don't even think that it was conscious. It was the unconscious thing that he looked at his own daughter as the cause of his own death. And because of that, he couldn't love his own daughter. And for her, she didn't get the love she needed so she could embrace herself and have the confidence to live her own life as an adult.
That story is captivating. You see, let me tell. Let's talk about another scene here. How did the woman end up on the street?
A lot of people, when they see homeless people, they just assume that they don't want to work, that they don't, that they just dealt with alcoholism and they deserve to be on the street. But everybody on that street has a story. And this woman's story was about the fact that first it happened where she couldn't get the love she needed to be a full human being, a full adult, to understand what love actually meant. She didn't get the opportunity to know herself and to do what she wanted to do in life because she was an artist. She also, because of that, she couldn't express love in her own marriage. So once her husband died, she ended up falling apart. She had a nervous breakdown and she couldn't gain ground in her life to support her own self. And she ended up on the street.
Wow. Let's talk about the state of mind of the woman on the street. So, are you sensible to the environment? Like looking at the environment is dangerous, and you see a guy who became a hustler, you know, sleeping beside the woman. So, can you tell the audience, going through that, your sensibility about the environment?
As an actor, and that's what I'm mainly trained in doing. That's what my focus is. Because as a person of color, I feel that I want to portray different roles that usually people of color don't get the opportunity to portray. I want to show that we are human and we have different lives, all of us. Um, so in that role, the hustler represented somebody who didn't mind being on the street. He was able to hustle his way through life. He's drug addicted. He's using the woman for his own purposes. A lot of times, women on the street a lot of people don't talk about this too, they're in jeopardy. They're in jeopardy for being attacked, abused, because it is very difficult for a woman to be alone on the street.
That's difficult. Yeah. Okay, let's talk about Jacob Click, who plays the man. Can you tell us a little bit about your past with Jacob Click?
Well, what I did, because I feel that performance on the screen is very important, and I feel that rehearsal is vital to get that performance and that truth and that rawness on screen. So Jacob, amazing actor, who came to me very fresh, and we workshopped. We workshopped doing improv, we workshopped doing movement to enable a full body expression of the role. So we talked about the history, the bio of this man, where he's coming in the story. And so we took time to really, really hone that role. And for myself and the hustler, everybody was given a time to workshop these roles.
Ladies and gentlemen, you are watching the talented actress Tijuana Layne, the writer of Blue Rose. So let's shift it to the street again. Every time there was a flashback that was always occurring to you as the woman. So can you explain that?
I felt the need for the audience to connect to her story. And I also wanted to make sure this story revolved around the woman, because these stories are not usually told through the POV of the woman, the character of the woman. And so when we flash back, we see where her life started, her life unraveled, to understand where she's at now in the story.
I think Jacob clicks play a vital role in this film, leading to resolution.
Yes.
So, okay, can you tell us a little bit that you didn't know he was coming to rescue you?
Oh no.
All of a sudden,
No.
he shows up. So, how was you feeling when you saw him?
As an actor, playing this role, first it's like I thought it was such a beautiful story of a man giving up his life and his security to help somebody else because he loved that person, he cared about that person. As being in that role, there was the frustration, the guilt to know how far I've gone down in my life, and to see someone that knew me in a better place at that place that I'm at now. So there was guilt, there was anger for myself, anger that I needed somebody's help. So there's all these multi-layered emotions that were going through as I was playing the role of being in a person's place that had fallen so far down in their life.
Yeah, that's one lowest point. So, when he came, the man, there was a time you said he should leave. You don't need his help. Were you
Yes.
trying to save his life from the hustler, or you just said that for him to walk away from you?
It was both. It was two-pronged. It was the fact that I didn't want him to be harmed by, because I know what the hustler's capable of doing. I didn't want him to be harmed. And also, I felt the guilt again, and I was angered. So it was two layers that I was playing there to push him away.
He played a vital role. Like, okay, let's talk about the scene where he came and picked you up and he took you to his home. So you woke up, realizing you are somewhere strange, right? All of a sudden, you
Yes.
see his face. What came to your mind that very moment when you knew he was the one?
Well, it's fight or flight, because it's that second of waking up and seeing yourself in a whole nother environment. It was shock. It was everything. So it's like, it's not even recognizing that there's somebody I know. It's just that, where am I and why am I here? So it's fear.
Your relationship. Let's talk about your relationship with Jacob Clay, who plays the man. He was very, very careful. He was taking good care of you. He's doing this out of why?
Out of love, because the husband, he knew my husband. They were best buds. They knew each other from high school. And we all went together in college. And so we knew each other. And he stood back, even though he knew he loved me. He stood back because he felt so much brother love for his bud that he allowed his buddy to marry me.
It's a great story.
And an amazing human being to do that. So we always loved the woman. And that letter that was sent was a plea from the husband dies, was a plea for this man who he loved and cared about as a brother to help the person that he actually loved in the very beginning.
And when he saw the photo of you on the street, you can tell his emotions, how he felt, like I really have to do something.
Yes.
And yeah. So he followed through. So this film is a great movie. I love it. Everything about this movie is about life. What can happen at any given time. When you are not expecting. The cloud of uncertainty. So I will recommend a lot of people to watch this film. If you want to watch this film, you know what we're talking about. The Blue Rose. Blue Rose was well written and directed, and you're having one of the finest actresses here, Tijuana Layne. Thanks for coming to.
I'm honored.
Yes.
I do want to speak that I have something on the horizon too, that actually 2 films I'm finishing. In the Echo Vivo that talks about the loss of humanity, and The Blue Lady that talks about isolation. And I'm so happy I have an amazing actor of color who is playing one of the major roles. And I'm talking about the beauty and a healthy relationship between 2 people of color.
That's great. So let me ask you one question more. How are you received in the Black community?
That's a very important question. I've had a situation where I've been berated for not being Black enough. And it's very hurtful because, as you know, Faze, we come in different shades because of our history. Our history is vast. And so sometimes I'm not embraced as a person of color. Sometimes in the white community, I am not even viewed as a person of color. So I get to see the reality, unfortunately, of the truth of racism. So it's an interesting place to be, the in-between.
Well, it's a difficult situation in a Black community. I'm from Africa. There are a lot of Blacks who won't support my festival because I'm from Africa. So we have our work cut out for us to do. But in spite of that, we can always work hard on it so that we can embrace one another. Hamilton Black Film Festival is for inclusiveness, and that's our motto.
Yes.
So we continue to live that way. We continue to embrace inclusiveness. Thank
Yes.
you for coming to the show today, Tijuana Layne. It's nice chatting with you. I hope to see you soon. Ciao.
Thank you for inviting me. Thank you. Thank you very much. It's a pleasure.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye now.